I only meant to return Xavier's forgotten phone. Then he slammed me behind a concrete pillar, panic in his gray eyes, and whispered, "Don't move. Don't make a sound." Footsteps closed in. A man asked for payment and Xavier had none. What had I walked into? I followed Xavier to the abandoned warehouse to return his forgotten phone, only to be slammed against a pillar by him. His panic was worse than his anger. "Hide. Don't move. Don't make a sound." Then the men arrived, demanding payment his father had already taken, and threatening his mother. The phone had buzzed in my pocket all morning, Xavier's name flashing, then going silent. I couldn't shake the uneasy feeling that something was off. So when I found his phone lying on the bleachers after practice, I made a split decision. Maybe it was foolish, but I told myself I'd just drop it off and leave. "I'll see you at the warehouse around the block at 6 tomorrow." Glancing at the time on his phone, I see it's 15 minutes to 6. I have just enough to get there, and give Xavier his phone before his friends get there. My heart hammered against my ribs as I jogged down the cracked pavement, the late afternoon sun casting long, crooked shadows that looked like grasping fingers. As I approach Xavier's neighborhood, I keep my eyes peeled. The streets grew quieter, the houses more worn, until I turned the corner and saw it. I stopped in my tracks, my eyes scanning the about-to-tumble-down building of the abandoned warehouse. Its rusted corrugated roof sagged like a tired spine, and the few remaining windows were toothless gaps of blackness. Broken glass and splintered wood make crumbling sounds under my feet as I walk slowly through the rectangular hole that was supposed to have a door but doesn't. The air smelled of damp concrete, stale oil, and something metallic, maybe old blood, maybe just rust. Dust motes swam in the slivers of light cutting through the roof. Before I can take in any more of the place though, someone grabs me from behind, a hand coming to clasp on my mouth, cutting off my scream instantly. The palm was rough and warm, and the force of the grip sent a jolt of pure terror through my veins. My body is lifted into the air, spun around and slammed down again, my back hitting one of the cool concrete pillars, and knocking the breath out of me. The impact rattled my teeth, and for a second I saw stars. The hand vanishes from my mouth. "Xavier, you scared the shit out of me," I cry out. "What the hell are you doing here?" Xavier demands in a low voice. His eyes were wild, darting past me toward the entrance. I came to find you." I pant. "You didn't come to school so." He clasps a hand over my mouth again, and my own fingers clutch desperately at his arm. I could feel the tension in his muscles, the slight tremor in his grip. "Shh, he warns me, shifting closer so that his breath tickles my skin. He smelled of sweat and cheap soap, and there was a desperation in his whisper that made my blood run cold. "I can't get you out now. Just stay here. Hide. Don't move. Don't make a sound. No matter what you hear, don't come out. Got it?" I nod quickly, my eyes widening when I hear the distress in his tone. His form vanishes from in front of me, and before I know it, I hear him walking away. I press my back flat against the pillar, trying to slow my breathing, trying to become invisible. "So," says a thick voice. "Did you bring the payment?" "What payment?" I hear Xavier voice the question. "Your old man said you'll be the one paying us." I turn around slowly, making sure to stay behind the pillar. My palms were slick with sweat, and I had to fight the urge to bolt. I tilt my head a couple of fractions to the side, peeking out from behind the pillar to see a group of men, standing in the middle of the otherwise deserted warehouse. The space yawned around them, empty crates and coils of rusty wire scattered like forgotten bones. Xavier is facing a row of 3 men. The man in the middle is dressed in black leather, his bare arms covered in tattoos. Snakes and skulls twisted up his biceps, and a silver ring glinted in his nose. The other 2 men are dressed in black hoodies. "He took the money from me to give you," Xavier's voice answers. "Well, maybe we should go ask your ma for it then," the first man says, and his friends snicker at his words. "Leave her out of this," Xavier says, and for the first time since I've known him, I hear anger in his tone. It was a low, dangerous growl that made me realize I didn't know him at all. The older guys laugh mockingly. "Then you better pay me, boy," says the guy in the middle. I don't have money, Xavier says. Well, you better find a way then, kid, the man shoots, his voice lowering as he takes a threatening step forward. The floor creaked under his boot, and I held my breath. I will, Xavier answers, just give me a couple of days, or we could see what you have on you now, and you can pay us the rest later. He tilts his head towards his friends, who instantly lunge forward and grab Xavier's arms, their fingers dug into his jacket, twisting the fabric. A sharp breath leaves Xavier's lips at the same time as I gasp. Slapping my hand over my mouth, I duck behind the pillar again. My heart was a drum in my ears, drowning out everything but the ragged sound of my own panic. Just as the thought of calling 911 hits me, my phone vibrates between my back pocket and the pillar. The buzz was like a gunshot in the silence. There's someone there, says one of the men in the hoodies. Over there. Find him, orders the leader. I stand still and hold my breath, preparing to run. Every nerve in my body screamed to flee, but my legs felt rooted to the concrete. What's the matter? The big, bad gang leader afraid of getting caught. The challenging tone in Xavier's voice is new, something I have never heard, and would never expect to hear. He was buying me time, I knew it with a sickening clarity. What did you say? The leather-clad guy hisses, clearly distracted from me. Nothing, says Xavier, and I peek out from behind the pillar again to see him staring the big man full in the face, his arms still in the hooded guy's grip. His jaw was set, his eyes unblinking, a mask of defiance covering whatever fear he felt. Search him, the man commands his friends. The guys hold Xavier by the arms, mumbling through his pockets and under his black jacket. They turned his pockets inside out, patting his chest and waist. Nothing, boss, says one of the men holding Xavier. The boss man looks into Xavier's face, stepping closer. His breath fogged the air between them. Where you hiding the cash, boy? He asks Xavier. I told you I don't have any, he answers evenly. I don't fucking believe you, the man spits. I don't fucking care. The man's hand curls into a fist, his eyes narrowing. Suddenly, he punches Xavier in the face. The sound, wet and dull, made my stomach lurch. The faint thump of bone against flesh echoes in the silence. Xavier's head jerks backwards, his arms still locked in place by the two strong men holding him. Another punch follows, hitting Xavier right on the nose, and making him groan in pain. Blood sprayed in a fine arc, dotting the dusty floor. I see something red spurt out from his nose. I watch in horror and helplessness as the man grabs Xavier by the hair and knees him in the stomach. Xavier's body folded like paper, a choked grunt escaping his lips. The men holding Xavier let go, and he falls with a loud thump to the ground, clutching his stomach and grimacing in pain. He curled into a fetal position, his shoulders shaking with each labored breath. You better have my money by tomorrow, the man in the leather jacket warned Xavier, bending over him. His voice was low and venomous. Or I'll break down your door, and get it from your ma. You got that, kid? Xavier doesn't answer, arms wrapped around his torso as he writhes in pain on the ground. I could see tears of pain squeezing from his closed eyes, but he made no sound. The leader lands a sharp kick at Xavier's stomach. The thud of boot against ribcage made me flinch. Xavier cries out weakly, closing his eyes and gritting his teeth. Come on, boys. Let's get out of here. I stand and watch as the three men walk out of the abandoned warehouse. Their footsteps fading away, the echo of their laughter lingered like smoke. I jump out of my hiding spot, and nearly run towards Xavier. I fall to my knees beside him. The concrete was cold and gritty under my jeans. Xavier, I breathe. What are you still doing here? He demands, his voice throaty but angry. Blood dripped from his nose onto his white shirt, spreading like a dark flower. You have to get out of here. You have to go. No, we have to get you to the hospital, I say, sobbing. My hands hovered over him, afraid to touch, afraid of hurting him more. Xavier shakes his head quickly, his face bloody. I said get out of here, he snaps at me. His eyes blaze with a desperate fire. Didn't you hear me? I said go. Go, and don't even look back. Got that? Now. Go, he yells at me. His voice cracked on the last word, and I saw his hand tremble as he pointed toward the gaping doorway. I jumped to my feet, and without waiting for him to speak again, obey. Tears blurred my vision, but I forced my legs to move. I run at full speed, out of the warehouse and onto the road. The gravel bit into my sneakers, and the wind whipped my hair across my face. I wanted to stop, to turn back, to drag him out, but his order rang in my ears like a command I couldn't disobey. I run and don't look back.